got the car packed with stuff, middle of the move, but I wanted to get in my Ecclesiastes. Um, so the name doesn't sound very Proverbs, Psalms like, um, but it was a really, really good book. Short, 12 chapters, I believe, but full of wisdom. You know, he seemed to be King David's son, who one of David's son. Seems very wise. At the same time, I even wrote Eeyore because he seems quite negative. You know, life is meaningless. This. It's meaningless. This. It's all meaninless. This. But it's meaningless. You know, so he's very Eeyore-like. But so let me read a couple of the highlights. What is wrong cannot be right. What is missing cannot be recovered. You know, so this one I actually mentioned to Gabriel yesterday, my son, because he said something and then he apologized. And I said, what is wrong cannot be made right. And that's so true. You know, so many people say, you know, I said I'm sorry. You know, I apologize. You know, how many times do I have to apologize? And I always give the same example. If I punch you in your nose and I say I'm sorry, is it okay? It's not. What is wrong cannot be made right. That's chapter 1, verse 15. That's a good one. So I decided there is nothing better than to enjoy food and drink and to find satisfaction in work. Then I realized that these pleasures are from the hand of God, and that's repeated throughout this whole book. I think I highlighted it one more time, but you know it's true. You know, there's nothing better than food and drink, and find satisfaction in working, because it's just part of life. And then realizing that these pleasures are all made from the hand of God. It's all blessings. God gives wisdom, knowledge, and joy to those who please Him. For everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to cry and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance. And I put a song with a question mark next to it because I feel like there is a song by, you know, back in the days by, you know, like in the 80s or early 90s. I don't know. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather stones. A time to search and a time to quit searching. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be quiet and a time to speak. You know, that's a hard one for me, a time to be quiet, because, you know, I like to speak most of the time. So another good one is, I mean, it's all good, but I got some good highlights. He has planted eternity in the human heart, but even so, people cannot see the whole scope of God's work from beginning to end. And that one's a repeating statement as well. You know, that we just can't see all that God is doing, even if we see a lot. So I concluded that there is nothing better than to be happy and to enjoy ourselves as long as we can. And people should eat and drink and enjoy the fruits of their labor, for these are the gifts from God. Again, animals both go to the same place. Oh yeah, humans and animals, we both go to the same place. They came from dust and they return to dust. And that's an important statement there. To me, it's making sure that we realize that we're no better. So I saw that there is nothing better for people than to be happy in their work. That is our lot in life, and no one can bring us back to see what happens after we die. You know, and that was I highlighted that one because one, again, be happy with your work, and two, what are we gonna do? We're gonna wait till we die and then look back and be like, oh, this is what I should have done. That was what was meant. No, we can't come back. Two people are better off than one, for they can help each other succeed. If one person falls, the other person can reach out and help. I thought that was great for friendships and relationships. And then this one, I think, is good for siblings, spouses, and kids too. A person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer. Three are even better, for a triple braided cord is not easily broken. I like that. That's good. It is better to say nothing than to make a promise and not keep it. Don't let your mouth make you sin. And that's a good one too. A lot of us, make promises or even say something. Um, Even at work, if you do a contest and you say, I'm going to do this if you do this, do it. Just do it. Don't let your word be your bond, right? Those who love money will never have enough. And that's, I like this one here because in here it talks about money being good in certain aspects, but it also mentions that. People who work hard sleep well, whether they eat little or much. And I'm a big believer in that. Money is put into risky investments that turn sour and everything is lost. In the end, there is nothing left to pass on to our children. And that one I put in, one, because of the risky investment. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And two, the importance of leaving something to our children. Like I see, the importance of making sure that my kids don't have to get school loans more than leaving them money for them to just blow. It is good for people to eat, drink, and enjoy their work under the sun during the short life God has given them and to accept their lot in life again. And then this, I put the future. Everything has already been decided. It was known long ago what each person would be. There is no use arguing with God about your destiny. The more words you speak, the less they mean. So what good are they? In the few days of our meaningless lives, who knows how our days can best be spent? Our lives are like a shadow. Who can tell what will happen on this earth after we are gone? Sorrow is better than laughter, for sadness has a refining influence on us. And then this one, Memento Mori, I like. A wise person thinks a lot about death. Better be criticized by a wise person than be praised by a fool. I like that one. Then a lot of these sound like proverbs too. Control your temper, for anger labels you a fool. I was reading this as my other child was aggravating me last night, and I had to laugh when I read this, and I mentioned it to my wife. Control your temper, for anger labels you a fool. And I needed those words at that moment. I needed to control my temper. Don't long for the good old days. This is not wise. I like that. A lot of people talk about their good old days. A lot of people that are, 50, 60 years old are talking about their injury and when they were, playing football in high school. Like, dude, get over it. Like, don't, okay. Wisdom is even better when you have money. See, this is the positive about money. both are a benefit as you go through life. Wisdom and money can get you almost anything, but only wisdom can save your life. Enjoy prosperity while you can, but when hard times strikes, realize that both come from God. I really like that one. Remember that nothing is certain in life. Enjoy prosperity when you can, but when hard times strike, realize that they both come from God. One wise person is stronger than 10 leading citizens of a town. Like that. When a crime is not punished quickly, people feel it is safe to do wrong. And I highlighted that not only for society, but I think it's also, we're raising a child and, leading a team. It's important. I always, a lot of people say, pick and choose your battles. I'm not a believer of that. I believe in it's all your battle zone. It's all your battle. It's all your war. And if I pass by somebody doing something wrong and I'm on a mission and I got other things to worry about, yeah, I could justify it, pick and choose my battles. Or I could just pause for a second. Hey, can you just not do that? Or can you do that this way? And just keep on moving. 15 seconds, 10 seconds of your time. And it's not necessarily punishing a crime quickly, but it is correcting a wrong quickly. Not ignoring it. Silence is acceptance, right? So if you walk past something that's being done wrong, or even not being done right, you're accepting it. You're setting that standard, and that's not okay. There is nothing better for people in this world than to eat, drink, and enjoy life. That way, they will experience some happiness along with all the hard work God gives them under the sun. There is only hope for the living. As they say, it's better to be a living dog than a dead lion. It's important to do what you do now. A lot of people talk about, when they go to heaven and living this life. And you know what? Maybe. But right now, you got life. And it's better to be a dog alive than a dead lion. Whatever you do, do it well. When you go to the grave, there will be no work or planning or knowledge or wisdom. So whatever you do good now. Do it right now. And do it good. Do your best. That's all you can do. Your best is going to be different from time to time. Your dog dies, your best is going to be different. You're sick, your best is going to be different. Your wife pissed you off, your best is going to be different. Your boy is not doing well in school, your best is going to be different. But always do your best, I have observed something else under the sun. The fastest runner doesn't always win the race, and the strongest warrior doesn't always win the battle. The wise sometimes go hungry, and the skillful are not necessarily wealthy. And those who are educated don't always lead successful lives. It is all decided by chance, by being in the right place at the right time. And with that, I put on the side by chance, ... I think God speaks and works mostly by coincidences. And that's something that I have came to a conclusion for a while now. I think that's the way that God works and God speaks. Many things in life, especially if you're thinking the right way, if you have wisdom, if you're making the right moves, all of a sudden, you just start getting lucky. Things just happen to start falling into place. A lot of coincidences happen, generally when you're doing really good. And maybe when you're doing bad in a negative way, but, thankfully I'm not processing that way now. But I think that God speaks and works in coincidences, you know, and it might seem like by chance. So highlighted that one. People can never predict when hard times come, like a fish in a net or birds in a trap. People are caught by sudden tragedy. It's true. Better to hear the quiet words of a wise person than the shouts of a foolish king. As dead flies cause even a bottle of perfume to stink, so a little foolishness spoils great wisdom and honor. That's so true also. Everything in life is a give and take. So this one I wrote that on the side. When you dig a well, you might fall in. When you demolish an old wall, you could be bitten by a snake. When you work in a quarry, stones might fall and crush you. When you chop wood, there is a danger where each stroke of an axe, and that's where I put everything in life is a give and take. And you're gonna take a risk with everything. So what? So does that make you not do something because there's a risk involved? Everything comes with a give and take. Be careful, be wary, but not so much so that keeps you from doing the things that you need to do or you should do. Happy is the land whose king is a noble leader and whose leader feasts at the proper time to gain strength for their work, not to get drunk. And that's a good one too. That's great for leaders. That's great for parents. We show the standard of what a celebration is. Yeah, most important thing of a leader is be a great example. I put diversify on the side of this one, diverse investments. But divide your investments among many places, for you do not know what risk might lie ahead. It's been going on for thousands of years. That diversification it's holy. Farmers who wait for perfect weather never plant. If they watch every cloud, they never harvest. And I'm a big believer in, and this I learned later in life. I've been a bit of a perfectionist, and I've been afraid of, doing something without it coming out perfect. And I've learned to just plant the seed. Oh, hold on. Plant your seed in the morning and keep busy all afternoon, for you do not know if profit will come from one activity or another, or maybe both. So that goes in hand with the farmer who waits for the perfect weather. So there's got to be a good enough. There's got to be a good enough moment and everything. And it's like, writing my book, my first book. I could have waited. I could have been more perfect. I could have made it more detailed. With this one now that I'm doing, I'm taking a little bit more time. It's not going to be perfect, but at some point you got to think this is good enough. Boom. You don't know if that's going to be, you don't know if you're going to die tomorrow. And you never put out that book. You never gave that wisdom out. You never left your mark in here. You never helped those that you could have helped because you was waiting to be perfect. You was waiting for the clouds to move away, to go away. You put all your eggs in one basket. No, there's just got to be a good enough moment. It's good enough. It's good enough. Let me push it out. Wabi sabi, baby. Imperfect perfection. It's okay. Just put it out there in the world and have faith. It's wonderful to be young. Enjoy every minute of it. Do everything you want to do. Take it all in. But remember that you must give an account to God for everything you do. To refuse to worry and keep your body healthy. Yeah, so that's really good. And then this one, ironically, books. I want to write a book a year if I can. Writing books is endless, and much study wears you out, and that to me, says a couple things. One, you don't have to read one more book, and that comes from an author, somebody that wants to write a book a year. There's not another book that you ever have to read. There's not another seminar that you need to listen to. There's not a speaker that you need to go see or listen to. You have everything you need. Innately, God gave you everything you need in life. All the wisdom, all the knowledge. You just got to dig through. You have to do some self-realization, some uh, self-meditation, some self-digging. You need to look for it, but within. It's useful to read books. It's useful to learn how to communicate, learn how to be more, learn language. That's the beauty of speeches, of speakers, of teachers, of books. You learn language, you learn how to communicate, you learn how to listen, you learn how to understand. It's like cheat codes to this life, but you could very well just dig in, and not have to filter when you dig in. You got to filter a lot when you absorb from the outside and much study wears you out. You study till you could take action, and that's the importance. I love wisdom. I read 99.999% nonfiction. Why? Because I want to learn the code. I want to break the code. I want to learn the wisdom in between all the knowledge. I can live without the knowledge. The knowledge is not, I'm not fond of the knowledge. I'm fond of the wisdom. Now, is it just because I want to have great conversations? No, I love great conversations, but it's because I want to take action. So, you know, much study wears you out. If that's all you do, you're going to get wore out. Study so you could take action. Action, it's like when you go for a run in the morning or you work out in the morning, you use all that energy and you think you would be wore out all day, but yet you're energized. It's like if you just kicked on the alternator of your heart and now you have so much more energy, so take the studies and make it into action, make it work for you, find the beauty in it and use it. Don't just wear yourself out. And last, the very last verse of Ecclesiastes, I don't know how to say it. On chapter 12, verse 14, God will judge us for everything we do, including every secret thing, whether good or bad. And I think that's an important reminder that, we're going to be judged whether we do good or bad. I want to be I want to be judged for the good things that I do. You're going to reap the harvest based on what you planted, the seeds that you planted. So plant the good ones. Make it happen. Love ya.